All right then, so let's create this blue circle first. So let's see. This is the second division. This is the second section is ending over here. So let's say as the third section, or let's say circle section. Okay, so here, and we can say we are going to create a plain view only, view. Okay, so basically that view is going to be in the absolute position. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just going to say class name first. Let's create the width and height. I'm just going to fix the width as 400 pixel, and height is also going to be the 400 pixels, 400 pixels. Okay, so then what we are going to do is basically bg, I'm going to say hash. We are going to use this exact same color code from here, copy it, and we can paste it over here, save the changes. And you can see a very big box over here. So we can make it as a rounded full. Now it looks like a perfect circle. So we are going to make it absolute. So absolute, it's going to refer its parent element over here, the view, safe area view. That's going to be absolute. That is in the top now. Okay, so from the bottom, I'm just going to push it 36. From the bottom, it should be there. And in the right side, I'm just going to say right minus right 36, like that. So now it's perfectly in the right side. Okay, so what we are going to do is basically we can copy this line completely and we can paste it one more time. Instead of this color, I'm just going to change the color code, copy it, change the color code. And instead of bottom 36, I'm just going to bring it a little bit down. So instead of bottom 36, let's say minus bottom 28. Save changes. So you can see that circle over there. And instead of keeping it over there, I need to bring it in the left side. So change this right to left. Now we have that circle over here. Okay, so to the top of this, we need to load the image container, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so let's see. You can find this image which is in the assets folder which I already shared with you. You can find the image name called hero. So we are going to load this image in that specific position. So let me close this. So before loading into that, so let me create a separate sections first. Let's say image container or something. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to create a separate view. Okay, we are going to bring a separate view in this specific position, in this complete position, and we are going to keep that image over there. Okay, so let's create a view. Okay, view, and class name is going to be, this view should take the complete length, whatever the space it's available, it should take the complete length. So flex 1, and the position, it's going to be relative position, and everything inside in this view, it should be exactly in the center position. Okay, so now if you apply any background color or anything, you can see this is that position. See, basically it's taking the complete available position, so I don't need anything. Let me delete that. I'll keep everything in the center, and inside this view what we are going to do is we are going to bring that image. Okay, so I'm just going to use the image image from the React Native. I'm going to use that class image and a self-closing component. So basically loading an image inside your using the image component. So you have to use the property name. We have to use the prop called source prop. Inside the source prop, you have to supply the if you're supplying a URL, you have to supply it using URI. You can't find the URI, you need to supply the URI and paste that URL inside here. That will load that image directly. So for instance, let's say if you want to load any image from the browser, for instance, let's say let's go to the Pixabay. So let's say I want to load this picture. Oops, not this one. We can search any pictures. Let's click the home menu. Okay, so let's say I want to load this picture. So let me copy this image address. and go here and paste it here. Okay, so it's not loaded because we didn't give any width and height. So let's say if I'm giving the class name, I'm just going to say width 20 and height and 20 object cover. Save the changes, and that you can see it's loaded the images over here. So basically you have to use this component, and you have to, if you're using a URL, you need to supply it inside the URL like this, inside the URI, inside the source prop. Inside the source prop you have the URI object, and you need to supply your URL over there. And even though if you supply the URL, it will not load it just like in the way in a web. Once you given the URL, it will load that image whatever size it is, but inside the mobile you have to keep the exact size, then only it will load that image. In this case we are not going to load this. And what we are going to do is, inside the assets folder, I'm going to create a new file called index.js, because later in the project you might have a different images, so every time you can't import one by one image inside, so that will make a very big import statement. So if I'm importing, let's say in the same component I want to import 10 to 16 images, sometimes not that much. If we are going to do, then it will create the 10 to 16 import statements differently. I need to import it in this way, so that's the reason we are creating an index.js inside the assets folder, and I'm going to export that image. Export by default as hero image from dot slash, and I'm just going to copy that name of that image, copy the name and paste it here. Save the changes. Now it will be exported, and inside the home screen, inside this URL, I can simply say I'll delete this. I can bring that hero image, save the changes. So it's showing an issue. Okay, so what we can do is, instead of supplying it in the URI, we'll directly supply it over here. There we go. So now that image is successfully loaded over there. Okay, so basically it's taken that complete, that loaded image loaded over there, but the problem is height and width, so it should take the full height. So why the reason it's not working is because it's an object which is coming from our local file. If you're using a URL, then only you need to use the URI. Currently this is an object, so that's the reason I'm directly supplying it into the source object, source property. Okay, so now the image is taking the complete width and height and everything. Okay, so then what I need to do is, I just need to push it a little bit from the top, because you can see I don't want to see this gap between there, so I'm just going to push it a little bit down. Okay, so I think this is perfectly fine. Okay, so we perfectly build the same replica over here. You can see the image is perfectly in the left and right, it's perfectly fine, and here also it's perfectly fine. The only thing is missing is, all we have to do is to bring this option over here, just like this, the outline, and as well as this view over here, we have to bring that one. So that's what we are going to do next. All right then, so let's have a look over here first. So what we need to do is, inside this image, so basically this is two different divisions. These are two different divisions. You can see this outside is one division. Oops, just a moment. Outside is the different division. So here, the outside circle is a different division, and inside that one more go is the different one, and inside that we do have this go text. Okay, so that's how we need to wrap these stuffs entirely inside that. Okay, so let's go ahead, and here, so what we need to do right after here, I'm just going to create one view. That's a main view, and inside that view I'm going to create one more view, and inside that I'm going to create one more text, and that is going to be go. Save the changes. So that will display the go over here. So basically that should be exactly in the center over this specific position. Okay, to do that, what I need to do is, all I have to do is to make this main division, main view, as an absolute position. So absolute, from the bottom I'll put it in the 20. Okay, and say the changes. Now it is over here, right? Then what we need to do is, so we can say that as width 24, and we can say height as 24, and one second. View, just a moment. Okay, so here we made the height and width. So let's say the changes, and if you're using any background color, let's say if I'm using any background color, you can see that background color. So basically we don't need any background color for it. All we have to do is to just we need to bring the border. All we have to do is to bring the border. So let's do that. But what we need to do is basically it should bring everything in the center of the screen. Even if it is absolute position, it's not bringing in the center of the screen. I think what's the reason? Image is perfectly there and it's using this relative position only. Fine. That's the problem. So it is not is inside the division. That's why I'm wondering. Actually, it is supposed to be in the center of this screen over here, because we already wrapped it as an item center and justify, but this is supposed to be inside this view over here. Now it is in the center position. So my bad. After this image only, you have to create that. After the image, you have to create that. Now it's perfectly fine. But I don't need this background color. So here I'm just going to say border. So all I have to do is to left side and right side. So you can, if you have a look at over here, what I'm talking about, see here. So here, and you can see the left side is a little bit thinner, and in the right side also a little bit thinner, but on the top it's a little bit darker, but bottom we don't have a border effect. So that's what we are going to do now. So what I need to do is, for this I'm just going to say border left, I'm just going to say 2, and border right I'm just going to say 2, and border top I'm just going to say 4. Okay, and the border color we are going to fix it border, we are going to say the exact same color, this one. Copy that color code and paste it over here. So now you can see that, okay, in the left and right we have a thinner border, and top we have a darker one. But the thing is, like, what we can do is, this is, let me enable the wrap word wrap so that we can everything in a single screen. Okay, so I need to make it rounded full. So now it will be rounded, you can see that. Then item center and justify center, that will keep everything in the center of the screen. Bingo. So now what we need to do is this one width, I'm going to make the width for this view. So class name, for this width I'm just going to say width 20, height 120, and I'm just going to say item everything in the center, justify everything in the center, and make it rounded full. And the BG color is going to be background, is going to be hash, this exact same color code what we are using at the top, this one. Say the changes. Now it will be in the center. And for this text, what we are going to do is, I'm just going to say class name and text gray color, let's say gray 50. That's, I think that's enough. And the text size is going to be a little bit bigger. I'm just going to say 40 pixels. And font semi bold is enough. Save the changes. Look at that. I think that's perfect. Otherwise you can reduce the little bit size over here, 36 pixel. Okay, 36 is perfectly fine. Okay, so that's looking perfectly fine. So what we need to do is, so basically it's simply doing applying button. So we need to add some clickable event. So it's not looking fine, right? So when I click it, it looks like some clickable actions over there. So instead of plain a view, so what we can do is, I can wrap this view I can wrap this view completely into a touchable opacity. Touchable opacity. Use the React Native, and inside here, and now when I click this, see, we have that touchable opacity. All right, so if you want to change this touchable opacity for the entire view, then wrap the entire view for the touchable opacity. In this case, I'm just going to keep this button like this. Okay, and then the next part, now you can see that we are done with pretty much with our home screen. The only part is remaining in the home screen is just the animation. We just need to add some single animation. When the image is loading, we have to make sure the image is fading in, and we have to add some animation, a pulse effect for this button over here. It should pulse constantly. Okay, so we are going to use that animations. So that's what we are going to do next. All right then, so to add the animations inside the React Native, basically we need to use this package. So let me search for React Native Animatable. Search for that, and there you can find this package, React Native Animatable npm. So click this. So here you can see all the props for that, how to add the animations, how to import this animations, and what are the different animations that it can see. If you scroll down, you can see these are all the different animations that you can use. Bounce, fade in, bounce out, fade in, fade out, all the entrance animations, exit animations, all the options you can add it over here. Okay, let's take your time and go through all the animations and everything. So let's first install this package. So let's scroll to the top and copy this name, copy it, and open your terminal. Control J or Command J and paste it over here. Install that. So not like this. Come on, let me clear it and add yarn, add, paste it. So that will install that package. And now what we need to do is so here we need to import this one. Copy this and scroll up. Okay, scroll it up a little bit, and at the top right after here, I'm just going to import that one. Import star animatable and everything. Okay, so once you added that one, all that you need, all I have to next, what I need to do is all I have to do, just like in a framer motion, what we will do, we'll wrap it in by using the motion object here. We just need to wrap it with animatable object, animatable dot image. Okay, just like that, you need to wrap it. And objects, what are the objects? Then you have to supply, you can supply anything. What is the animation you are going to use? What is the duration, delay, direction, easing? These are all the easing objects you can use. Okay, in this case, the animation I'm going to use for this is animation. The animation name is going to be pulse. I'm just going to use the pulse animation. Okay, pulse. Then easing ease out, ease out. Okay, and then save the changes. Otherwise we can use in not pulse. Okay, fade in. So basically fade in for your image, my bad. Ease in out, save the changes. So now once the image is coming in, it looks like that. So if I refresh it, look at that. Okay, so then for this button over here, that is this view. So here, hold your alt key or option key to create a multi-cursor editor, and then type animatable dot view. Okay, then press the escape key to remove that animatable options, that the multi-cursor options. So the animation name we are going to use this over here is the pulse animation, and the easing option we are going to use is ease in out. Save the changes, and it should run constantly. So iteration count, that's an object we can use, and I'm going to say infinite. Save the changes. So now we can see it have that pulse effect. Look at that. So that's looking awesome, right? So when I click this, it have that fade in and fade out effect by using this touchable opacity, and this having this pulse effect, like it's running infinite number of times over here. Okay, and it's nicely animated because of this ease in and ease out effects. All right, so now when I click this, that's need to navigate to the next screen, and that's what we are going to do now. All right, then, since we successfully added this nice animation and nice touchable opacity for this,